Hey guys, I'm Levi Gates and welcome back to DETALKS. With me, Mr. Yvan Lacroix of Optimum Polymer Technologies. Welcome back, brother.
Thank you, sir.
It's been a while.
It's been a couple of years, actually.
Yeah, it's nice to have you back in. Ivan and I haven't not seen each other in a couple of years. We
No.
see each other quite often.
Many trade shows. Around the world,
Around
actually.
the world, actually. We were able to spend some time in England this year, so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
But we got him back to Boise, back in the studio. We're going to do some detox, and we hope you guys enjoy these. So one of the first topics we wanted to talk about that a lot of people don't, we hear variations back and forth on social media, on other YouTube videos, but a lot of people don't seem to understand the benefits of cool polishing.
Exactly.
So to speak.
Yeah.
And you have written a number of articles. Many of you have probably seen these articles that Ivan's written in a lot of the different detailers groups on Facebook. So explain some of that.
Well, cool polishing. When we're polishing clear coat.
Right.
Sometimes single stage paint, but generally speaking, clear coat. Clear coat is in effect a plastic. When we're polishing it and we create heat, so back in the 70s.
Right. So
when I started detailing, when I was younger,
yeah,
we were working on lacquer paints, we were working on the old cellulose single stages. We would actually have to create heat to correct the paint. Today, that is not the case. We don't want to create heat. Heat is actually a negative contributor to what we're doing. It's not going to help you, it's actually going to hinder you.
Okay.
So we want to keep it as cool as possible. And we have a lot of different ways of doing that. First of all, don't use pressure. You don't need to be applying.
Because you add pressure, you're going to generate more heat.
You're going to generate heat. When I do trainings, I have an IR camera. And you can see it. You just add 1 or 2 pounds onto that polisher and the heat spikes.
Right.
It's incredible how much heat that generates.
And I've been in a training with you, Ivan, and you have literally shown that. And it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Just wherever you basically put your hand and add pressure to it, and not a lot.
No.
Just like you're opening a door, maybe you're pushing a door open. It's not a lot.
No, it doesn't take a lot of pressure. And when you do that, when you create that heat, what happens is, first of all, you swell the paint. Mm-hmm. When you swell the paint, a lot of negative things happen to it. First of all, it opens up the pores. If your compound or polish of choice happens to have hydrocarbon solvents in it, they have a very small molecule size. They enter those pores that are now opened up and they block them. They act like Botox. So just like the person that had Botox injected and they had that permanent smile, or no
wrinkles.
No wrinkles on the forehead, whatever. That effect eventually goes away, but it doesn't go away when you wipe it with, let's say, an IPA or a paint prep or something like that. But 2 or 3 weeks down the road, that's when you have the negative effects of the heat showing up.
Yeah.
And those negative effects, we've all seen it. You drive by a dealership, they have a black car up on the stand, they're all proud of it. 2 or 3 weeks later, that they didn't sell the car, it's still up on the stand.
It's been washed maybe once or twice by the lot boys.
Yeah, or it just rained on.
Yeah.
And now it's got buffer trails all over it.
And I am one of those guys that is not afraid to admit, when I was a younger detailer, that was a common problem.
Right.
Because the products and the equipment that we used at the time,
right,
that was the only way we knew how.
And when we were taught back then, we were taught, bear down on it, put some heat into it.
Yeah, and then we'd always get calls back from the dealerships going, hey man, this truck looks like garbage, what happened?
Yeah.
And none of us knew. We were like, well, that's weird. So we'd bring it back into the shop, we'd go pick it up, we'd waste time and energy, and we'd repolish it, doing the exact same procedure that we did, and we're like, wow, it looks really great. I wonder why it did that. But
and a month later,
we didn't have the info, we didn't have the forums, we didn't have channels like this that you could learn this kind of stuff.
And we didn't have a doctor of
organic chemistry
teaching us on how clear coat works. And that's where I get my knowledge from.
Yeah.
But so Dr. Gadusi has designed clear coats, and with that, he's been able to teach us, all the staff at Optimum, but everybody else around us as well, when we teach, that cool polishing is definitely the way to go and why. So that Botox effect is one of the negative effects of heating. The other negative effect is you actually cut slower. You cut less.
Yeah.
So you're heating up the paint. When you're heating it up, it softens it a little bit. That softening effect makes it so that your abrasives, instead of cutting, are now sort of grabbing, rolling around, not doing what they're supposed to do. And the best analogy I have for that is a marshmallow and an ice cube. You take an ice cube to a piece of sandpaper, it's going to cut the ice cube down.
Right.
If you take a marshmallow, it's just sort of going to roll around.
Push around on it.
Yeah.
It's just going to get squishy.
It's not going to do anything.
Okay.
When you're overheating the paint, that's what you're doing. And now people say, well, yeah, but my car is parked out in the sun. I can't even put my hand on it. It's so hot. Correct. But that is the sun warming up that whole panel
car
in one piece and cooling it down. You don't have a 6-inch diameter pad trying to rip the paint off the car in that small section.
Yeah, that's true. That's neat. And one of the great things with the way the Hyper system works is the fact that we're using, you utilize O&R to help cool the paint as well.
Right, because we're always cleaning the pad, and the pad is cleaned with the O&R in the pad washer. So your pad is cool, your pad is clean. That unblocking of the pores of the pad, be it a wool pad, be it a microfiber pad or a foam pad, when you have a clean pad, it acts like a brand new pad every time.
Yeah, and it's not just Optimum that talks about this, but there are other manufacturing companies and and pad companies and product companies that mention this. And one of the other ways they recommend is what they say is a supplemental wetting agent.
Yes.
So instead of using O&R, they'll use just a spray bottle of water.
Right.
But it's effectively the same thing. They're spraying the pad to cool the pad down,
Yes.
to clean the surface. They're maybe adding it to the surface of the panel that they're working on to do the exact same thing. So it's not just Optimum saying to use this to cool or polish cool.
No.
A lot of the manufacturers teach this.
And the paint manufacturers, their upper threshold that they recommend when polishing paint is 140 degrees Fahrenheit or 60 degrees Celsius, or a 20 degree differential. So if your surface temperature is 70 degrees, you shouldn't go over 90 degrees when you're polishing.
Okay.
That is the ultimate safe zone. So that 20 degree differential.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then other ways that people could also run a little cooler is their speed.
Yeah, keep the speed
on the
down,
machine.
definitely. Increasing the speed will actually not increase your cut. It's not going to make you cut faster. It's actually going to make you cut slower because you're going to be increasing heat. When you increase heat, you diminish your cut.
Yeah.
So we do a demonstration in the classroom, and every time I'm doing a clinic, I do the demonstration as well. We'll set up a Zen tool with a wool pad, and we'll take a crease on one of the demo hoods, and I'll set one person up, speed 6, another person, speed 2 on the Zen tool, and the person on speed 2 actually cuts through the paint faster down to the primer than the person on speed 6.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And what's one of the things that I find interesting is that one, that most people, it's totally counterintuitive to a lot of people. They're like, no, I have to crank that sucker up or I have to get to that point with it. But what a lot of detailers don't know is, as more and more companies and more polishing technology evolves, and with the use of the DA is the reintroduction of wool back into the system.
Definitely.
And what most people never understood is that's when we were rotary guys, that was one of the main options. We didn't have technically foam all that often. We had wool.
Yeah, you'd definitely cut with wool all the time. And wool is actually a spectacular material to work with. We've had the Hyper Wool Foam pad for a number of years, and it's a hybrid pad. It's got a wool face with a foam interface the foam interface allows for cooling, the wool face for the cut. It's a very short nap wool, because with a DA you don't want a thick nap, because when you have that thick nap, it causes problems. It just moves around and it doesn't have the action to cut. But with that short nap wool, that thick foam, it allows for air movement, it allows for the cut of the wool. But if you're looking at a rotary polisher, the good old-fashioned 4-ply twisted wool, a thick inch, 1/3 or 1 inch thick, that actually moved a lot of air.
Yeah.
At the same time, it actually kept the surface cooler.
Oh yeah, you could always feel a breeze when you were running those machines.
Right.
That was almost the joke. Was I'd have guys in my shop that would say like, it's so hot.
Yeah.
I know, well, you got to keep polish. If the machine's in front of your face, you got a nice little breeze going. You're good. You don't have to worry.
And people are afraid of the rotary. It's going to burn the paint. It's so hot. It actually runs cooler a rotary than a DA most
Yeah.
of the times on paint. So
Yeah, so to recap, you've got a slower speed,
less pressure.
less pressure. You've got O&R in a pad washer.
Yep, definitely.
So the combination of the added pad washer
Yeah.
plus O&R and maybe a spray bottle. Wool.
Yes.
These kind of things can all help. Oh, and the waffle pads.
Yeah.
The waffle pads from Optimum are designed to help reduce temperature on the surface.
Exactly.
That's the whole design of a waffle pad. So if you're ever wondering what's the difference between a flat pad and a waffle pad, that's
Yeah.
kind of the reason. It makes there's more air movement.
There's more air movement, and a waffle pad doesn't create any pressure points. And it seems odd to say that because you got all these little points. But a flat pad, a vehicle is never flat.
Yeah.
You rarely see a flat vehicle completely. Where the flat pad always will have one area that has a little more pressure than
Okay.
the other area. Whereas the waffle pad spreads that pressure
A little more evenly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well, pretty neat stuff. So hopefully you guys can start putting some of these tips
Yeah.
into practice. And if you want to get a first-hand account, you can always sign up for one of the many optimization training classes that are either happening around your neck of the woods, because Ivan, you're always traveling everywhere.
a little bit, yeah.
Or you can actually attend a clinic at the Optimum headquarters in Memphis, Tennessee.
Exactly.
You sign up and you spend the weekend, and you get to get hands-on with Mr. Lacroix
And lots of barbecue.
and a lot of barbecue, which is always a good thing. So,
Yeah.
well, thanks, Ivan. I appreciate you coming out and doing
My
this
pleasure.
with me. You can check out Yvan Lacroix on Facebook and Instagram at YVAN Lacroix, and you can also make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and as always,
Share.
that's right, and check us out for more videos right here on the Rag Company YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.